she decided that she wanted to like dedicate a whole like event to women in urban culture and in hip hop culture. And so that's where the birth of Queen's Creation came from.
You know, it's you asked me how I feel. How would I feel about an
Yeah, or
all
you like
female
just a
event?
different perspective. Like, what does you know?
Well,
I'm always interested to see how people feel, and I feel like every reaction is okay. Like those
right,
reactions okay because then they tell us where we are at. You know, like
right,
where we're at.
right. I think well, I have a couple of things that probably put me outside of the norm. One, I'm also a teacher, so I teach
Mm-hmm.
high school science, right? So
Mm.
I have a lot of female students who play female sports, and if they invite me, I'm there. You know,
Nice.
so I have no problem going to the girls volleyball game or the girls soccer game, which I think we're just going into soccer season now because I just told the kid when you guys have a home game on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, as long as don't tell me the day of, give me about 2 days and I can come, right? So, but so I don't want to speak for the average guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this, and to be fair, I think unfortunately breaking has become a lot of what's in it for me,
Mm-hmm.
not what's in it for the culture, which I think has also made it easier for us to transition to this one-on-one culture versus the
Yeah.
crews, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think there's always been an aspect of what's in it for my crew, right? So if my crew's not in it, I don't care. And over
Uh-huh.
time, I think has transitioned to what's in it for me. And if it's nothing in it for me, then I don't care. So you get
Yeah.
into these situations where you could do an all styles battle and no b boys will show up. They'd be like, "Well, there's no cipher, there's no there's no one on one for us, so screw your event." And just throw away the fact that all of these events build your scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And grow your scene and work towards making your scene a destination point for dance culture at
Yeah.
large, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I think a lot of it is just not seeing the bigger picture, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
instance, if you guys are doing B-girl competitions, right? You guys are cultivating the B-girl, I don't want to call it culture because we're in this it's just breaking culture, right? But
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, you guys are cultivating the B-girl, culture, right? You guys are going against each other, still sharpening, still trying to get better and better and better, right? Till eventually you get to a point like you see today. I seen not too long ago, within the last week, somebody sent me a video of this girl just hitting air flares like crazy, like bang, 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 right? You only get that when you make space for these things to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it was no girl competitions, no B-girl competitions, maybe she wouldn't have been brave enough to get out there with the boys and move it around. But devil's advocate, if we're in this for equality, should there even be B-girl competitions or should it just be competitions? I asked a young lady this recently, and she was like, "Well, I don't." What she said is, we won't get into that, but how do you feel about that? Should there be B-girl competitions if we're all just the equal, or should there just be competitions?
But I mean, I think that's kind of my point is that we're not all equal. It's not an equal playing field. Judging is not equal. You know, like how many times have I smoked a guy and won a battle and got a tie? A lot.
And which is kind of like a nod to the dude, like, all
That's
right,
an
man.
that's an internalized bias that exists in the culture. There is like, and there is, um, I want to say like gender bias exists, like, and it's not conscious. You know, like it just exists because it is like a male, prominently male culture, right? There are more statistically. I mean, I hope somebody's going to start keeping track of all these statistics now that we're getting all technical. You know, it's like how many b-boys are there in the world compared to b-girls? How many b-boys in this country and compared to b-girls? Like, really, what are the stats? Like, what's the percentages? You know, like, and um, privilege exists, male privilege.
Privilege.
White.
Privilege is earned. It's not given.
White stuff going on in the world right now, dealing with and talking about white privilege. White.
Granted.
Wealth. With money and comes power and privilege to do pretty much what you want to do.
Being obliviousness.
Wanted. I mean, as a black male, you often see some people that are able to have privilege, and you feel that you'd be able to accomplish more if you were able to have that privilege.
And it means earned. It's not a right.
Born into. It's just what it is. You're either born into it or you're working for it.
You know, somebody who was, born into a rich family, or at least like upper middle class.
American. There's just kind of an idea of privilege coming from America, I think.
White.
Wow. Never had it.
White.
Seattle.
It's an honor.
I guess I can say I'm privileged.
White privilege, white supremacy. You know, white privilege is an invisible steroid that you don't even know you're getting. All right, when I get stopped and frisked, you don't know that you didn't get stopped and frisked.
When you're in a male-dominant environment, male privilege does exist, whether we like to admit it or not. And we, like in the case with all kinds of privilege, we benefit from privilege without even seeing it, you know? So very well-meaning men can benefit from male privilege without realizing it. And that is the issue. That's the deeper issue that's really hard to address because it's not conscious. It's not something that people purposely do. And so I think that is the thing that we feel the effects of, but it's a very hard issue to actually see, understand, and address and start to change, because just the sheer fact of numbers is one of the reasons why it still continues to be like a male-oriented culture. And in many ways, I feel like it's kind of going towards like macho culture, like many other sports, like, you know, like boxing or wrestling or things like this. Like there's already influences of that in the culture, in our dance. But like it's sometimes like when you see the breaking jams where there's a girl in a bikini going around with the cart and like, you know, it's in a boxing and stuff like that. Like that.
I think I've seen that with the Monster Girls, right? The Monster competitions, they have those chicks there with the signs and bikinis, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, really? That's what we gotta
I
do?
find it really weird. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I find it uncomfortable. In my head, I was like, is she getting paid more than the Bgirl? That's my question. How, you know what I mean? I hope she's getting paid, to be honest, like, because anyways, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I just think that maybe that's the thing that people aren't aware of is the privilege and the bias, you know, that exists without the unconscious bias. And so it's like you can say, yeah, we're all equal and we're all starting from the same place, but that's not true. We aren't. You know, like that's what I was saying. It's like that's why I would like people to experience and alter reality, like experience the culture from the way that we perceive it. And yes, we are all humans. We're like, we're not trying to separate men and women. We're all humans. And so we all deserve equal respect. That's for sure. But I do think that like until there becomes more equal numbers of women participate, more equal numbers of female judges, more like equal numbers of women in positions of importance, then I do think we need B-girl battles, because how else will B-girls get visibility? You know, because then, you know, okay, so because I've seen a lot of B-girls coming up, they'll enter the jam, they'll enter the prelims. There's like 40 people in the prelims. There's 38 guys and 2 B-girls. Did the B-girls make the top 16? No, they don't. So then what? Where's the incentive for them? How do they keep pushing? What's their motivation for training when every time they enter the prelims, they never make it? You know, like I can list in my career, I've won a battle where I think B-boys and B-girls should battle each other for sure. Without a doubt, I do not think that in jams, it should always be segregated and B-girls should only battle B-boys. B-girls should only battle B-girls because this also creates problems, and B-boys should only battle, definitely. And I think that this is one of the cool things about Bonnie and Clyde battles. We should bring back more Bonnie and Clyde battles. I think they're dope because this inspires a spirit of cooperation between B-boys and B-girls, and it also motivates B-boys to ask B-girls to dance with them and to battle with them. Whereas it's very difficult sometimes for women, B-girls, to become members of a crew, which may be majoritarily men. That's been the tradition in many, many crews, all B-boys, one B-girl. So that I find problematic in ways too. But I think that, like, you know, if we don't have competition, like that's what I was gonna say. I've won 18 competitions in my career, but like one of them, I think, or maybe two, at least one, was where I battled guys and I beat all the guys. I was the only B-girl in the event and I beat all the B-boys. So that's how rare. If there were no B-girl battles or there were no Bonnie and Clyde battles, then I would only have won one battle in my career or two. So, and just the fact of winning battles or having the opportunity to be seen, because I always say, like, it's one of my things that I say is visibility equals possibility. Visibility. So when women and girls see women doing this activity, it automatically gives them the image and the mental ability to visualize themselves doing it. So in a way, all the women who've been here over the years repping, we have been doing work by creating visibility, which allows the next generations of B-girls to come up and continue. It creates possibility. Visibility is possibility. And so now there's a lot more visibility for B-girls because of the internet, Instagram, and, you know, sponsorships and all this, which is great. I'm happy that now actually, you know, B-girls can be sponsored and make a career and not have to do a million jobs and try to, you know, support their B-girl or live in poverty. And like, it's like, that I'm happy that there's another way now, with all of the disadvantages that may come with that, you know, all the downsides with that. There's always a good and a bad side to everything. But yeah, I do think that there should be B-girl battles because that is one of the ways that B-girls can get visibility and then progress in their career. And so it's really important, in my opinion. And I kind of like don't understand why B-boys are so adamant about dissing B-girl battles and saying that they're whack. I'm like, you know, look at you sitting in your place of privilege talking about what B-girls should do. Once again, you know, this is another issue that I have is like B-boys lecturing and telling B-girls like what they should and shouldn't do. I'm just like, well, why don't you just focus on yourself and let us focus on what we need to do? It's like a weird version of mansplaining, you know? It's like, maybe I don't need your unsolicited advice about how I should arrange my insert whatever it is that this guy is complaining about: clothes, hair, lifestyle, breaking, you know? As a white person in the culture, I benefit from privilege, right? In the culture at large and in this culture, and have to admit, like, okay, so what are the equity, what equity initiatives can I participate in to rebalance the scales? What is there? You know, start having dialogues about this. Like, the first step is acknowledging that these things exist.
For more quality content from Beyond the Cypher with Illskillz, don't forget to press the like and subscribe buttons. Also, feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Beyond the Cypher. Let us know how we're doing down in the comment section. And to make sure you don't miss anything from the channel, smash that notification bell. We appreciate the love and support. Peace. Until the next episode.